Chapter 2. The Quiet Room. Elise padded barefoot across the polished hardwood floors of her condo, a glass of red wine in one hand, her earrings in the other. She'd finally washed off the day, makeup, microphone, mantle, and stood in her silk robe with her hair wrapped, breathing like the world was no longer watching. Alexa played Lianne La Havas. The lighting was dim, warm. Her place always felt like a sigh at the end of a sentence. She sank into the sectional, tucked her legs beneath her, and sipped slowly. Her phone buzzed. "Dad." She answered immediately. "Hi, Papa." "Hey, sweetheart." His voice was slower these days, softer. "You walked today. I'm so proud." "Thanks, Dad." Her smile was real this time. "Your mother's here, too," he added. Of course she was. "Elise," Geneva's voice cut in, brisk and polished. "You looked tense after service. You need to book a facial. Better yet, a spa day. Don't let that stress show in your countenance. This is a sacred season." Elise stared at the ceiling. "I'll book something," she said. "Thank you." "Good. Love you." The call ended. Elise tossed her phone on the ottoman and closed her eyes. The wine warmed her chest. The music swelled. Her body relaxed, but her mind didn't. And then it came again. The second half of the memory. Julian's hands were on her hips. She was half undressed. The car was dark, but his voice kept breaking the moment. "You're so quiet," he whispered, lips grazing her collarbone. "You okay?" She didn't answer. She had closed her eyes and tried to imagine someone else. Not a face, not a name, just a feeling, heat, hunger, passion, something unspoken. But Julian just filled the space with noise. "I could see us getting serious," he said between kisses. "Maybe even married. I mean, I'm not playing with you." That's when she rolled over. Not because she was flattered, but because he couldn't be quiet and just let it be, and that had just ended it, whatever it was. And she needed to feel something before the shame set in. She blinked the memory away and stood. The wine glass was still half full. The room was too quiet now. She picked up her phone again, thumb hovering. Geneva's spa contact was still open in her messages. But Elise swiped away from it, opened her browser instead. The same article stared back at her. "The silence between us, navigating faith and desire in the Black Church." She didn't press play, not yet. But she didn't close the tab either. She locked her screen and rubbed her temple with 2 fingers. She was too tired to deal with theology tonight, hers or anyone else's. So she opened her mother's text instead. The spa contact sat in a blue bubble. Renewed radiance. Private bookings only. "Ask for Olivia." She tapped the link. Booked a service. Facial, massage, 90 minutes. When the prompt appeared, "Select gender preference for massage therapist." She hesitated. Male, female, no preference. Her thumb hovered. She tapped female. A second later, she clicked into the spa's gallery, saw that they offered women-only mineral baths, and selected that too. She didn't know why. She told herself it was for comfort, for focus. But as she hit confirm booking, she couldn't ignore the quiet hum in her chest. Not desire, not shame, just something unnamed, something waiting, maybe curiosity. The scent of lavender met her at the door. It was soft, floating, a cloud of heat and herb that slowed her pace the moment she stepped inside. Elise inhaled deeply, as if the air itself had been healing. Renewed radiance was tucked between a wine bar and a boutique Pilates studio. But the moment the spa doors closed behind her, the outside world disappeared. No pulpits, no praise breaks, no one watching her from the second pew with silent expectations. Just lavender steam, sandalwood candles, and the low murmur of a nature soundscape playing overhead. The receptionist smiled warmly. "Elise Montgomery?" "Yes," she said, almost surprised by the sound of her own name. "Welcome. Olivia's getting your room ready. You'll have a private suite, facial, deep tissue, then a warm mineral bath. You're welcome to disrobe to your comfort level. We'll give you a robe and slippers." Elise nodded, her voice caught somewhere in her throat. She was still adjusting to the quiet. She followed Olivia, tall, dark-skinned, and with hands that looked like they carried peace for a living, down a winding hallway lined with rose quartz and linen curtains. The lighting was golden and low, as if the room itself whispered, "Exhale here." Her suite was spacious and warm, with soft cream walls, a flickering fireplace, and two folded white towels shaped into swans at the edge of a massage table. The soaking tub steamed gently in the far corner. "Everything you need is here," Olivia said, laying out a cool cloth for her eyes. "I'll start with your facial. Take your time." Elise changed quickly, slipping into the robe, tucking her jewelry away, and settling onto the table. When Olivia returned, she said nothing, just cleansed, steamed, massaged. Her fingers moved in firm, slow circles along Elise's jaw and temples, lifting not just product but pressure from her face. For the first time in weeks, Elise felt her mind go still. She almost drifted off completely, until the door opened. A man entered, clipboard in hand. "Massage for Montgomery?" Elise sat up instantly, robe slipping slightly from one shoulder. "No," he froze. I'm sorry, they didn't mark a preference." "I did," she said, sharper than she intended. "I booked a women-only suite. I prefer to wait." He nodded, flustered, already backing out of the room. "I'll get Olivia." The door closed. Elise's heart was pounding. She adjusted her robe and stared at the flickering light across the ceiling. It wasn't that she didn't trust male therapists. It wasn't even about modesty. It was something else, something she didn't want to name. And whatever it was, Julian was partially responsible. After the massage mix-up, Olivia returned with an apology and a warm smile. "We're short-staffed today," she said, "but the team adjusted your notes. You're all set for your bath service. I'll begin the scrub, and then Brielle will finish your soak while I step away for lunch." Elise gave a soft nod and followed her to the bath area, private, candlelit, and humming with quiet heat. The marble tub was already filled, infused with floating rose petals and a pale pink mineral salt that clouded the water like milk. Olivia gestured for her to disrobe and step in, which Elise did carefully, sinking beneath the surface with a hiss of relief. The warmth wrapped her body, melting her tension down to her fingertips. With gentle precision, Olivia began exfoliating her arms, neck, shoulders. Nothing inappropriate, everything methodical. Elise breathed into the rhythm. When Olivia excused herself a few minutes later, Elise leaned back against the tub's edge, eyes closed, fully surrendered to the silence. She didn't hear the new attendant enter until she felt the firm, gloved pressure of hands on her calf. She opened her eyes, slowly, and looked up. The woman standing above her was tall, broad-shouldered, and striking. Her features were sharp, almost androgynous, but softened by glowing skin and calm eyes. Her name tag read, Brielle. "Good afternoon," she said, voice low, even. "I'll be completing your bath." Elise nodded. She tried to settle back into the warmth, but her heart had kicked up again. Brielle moved with calm certainty, adjusting her gloves, scrubbing Elise's legs, her back, her shoulders. Again, nothing inappropriate, nothing excessive. But the contrast was loud. In her mind, Julian's hands had been clumsy, his touch too fast, his words too many. I could see us getting married. Elise had rolled over that night, not because she was overtaken with desire, but because she wanted to hurry it up and forget it happened. And the fact that he wouldn't shut up made it worse. But this was different. Brielle didn't speak unless necessary. Her hands were firm but gentle, movements deliberate. She worked as though the body was something sacred, not for conquest, but for care. And Elise's chest rising with each breath couldn't ignore the way her skin responded. Not desire, not exactly, just attention, presence, a kind of seeing that had nothing to do with titles or theology. She cleared her throat and shifted slightly, half praying the water would dull the tension she couldn't name. "I'll rinse now," Brielle said. Elise nodded without looking up. Brielle handed her a warmed towel for her hands and a glass of cucumber water. Elise offered a quiet, "Thank you," and reached for her wallet. "You don't have to." "I want to," Elise said. She slipped 2 folded bills into Brielle's palm, made eye contact for a moment longer than she meant to, and then turned, gathering her things with practiced grace. Perhaps she was looking for something. Outside, the world was loud again. She slid into her white Range Rover, dropped her phone onto the passenger seat, and rolled down all 4 windows. No gospel, no podcasts, just the sound of the wind weaving through trees in the hush of late afternoon. Her heels were off. Her bare feet moved across the pedals like she was trying to feel the road itself. The scent of lavender clung to her skin as she drove toward her parents' gated home. Halfway there, her phone buzzed. "Pastor E, can you call about the couple's retreat forms? We've got 19 couples, but only 17 rooms confirmed. Also, there's a dietary issue with the Coopers," she called back. She always did. Her voice was even, solutions ready, thank yous exchanged. Then ended the call, systematic, like autopilot. By the time she reached her parents' home, her calm was already fading. The door opened before she could knock. "Your father's been asking for you," Geneva said, stepping aside. "Then I won't keep him waiting," Elise replied, breezing past her. The room smelled like peppermint and old carpet. Her father was in his favorite recliner, Bible open, eyes soft. "There's my star," he smiled. She knelt beside him, resting her head against his leg. "You doing okay today?" "I will be, now that you're here." They talked for a few quiet minutes, books of the Bible, his garden, her message. Her father always spoke slowly now, like each word needed approval from heaven before leaving his mouth. It was the only place she felt safe, until she stood up and saw him. Malik standing by the kitchen island, arms folded, smiling like he belonged. Of course, Geneva's doing. Elise offered a tight nod. "Hey." "Hey, stranger," he said. "Been missing our talks." She didn't answer. "Elise," Geneva interrupted, tone sharp. "May I speak with you privately?" She followed her mother down the hall. "You were cold with him," Geneva said, shutting the study door behind them. "I wasn't cold. I was civil." "He showed up for you. You should have acknowledged that. He's a wonderful option, Elise. Every woman in your age group has him at the top of their list." "I'm not every woman. You're the woman and the future of this ministry." Geneva folded her arms. "Malik is poised. He's ambitious, and he'd elevate your platform while stabilizing your public image. I don't need a man to stabilize my image. No, her mother snapped, but you need one to quiet the vultures circling it. They stood in silence for a long breath. Then Geneva softened, slightly. You're overwhelmed. I see that. That's why I'm referring you to a therapist. Elise blinked. She's the young lady who purchased my practice. Her name's Amara Brooks. You book immediately and tell her you're my daughter. She'll be glad to see you. Geneva pulled a crisp business card from her bag and placed it in Elise's hand like a prescription. Elise stood, motionless, before the mirror, her fingertips grazing her lips, as if they held the answer to a question she had spent years avoiding. The woman staring back at her looked polished, controlled, disciplined. But underneath, there was something else, something restless, something angry. She swallowed hard. Her mother had always been the best at running her life, not guiding it, not protecting it, running it. All her life, Geneva's voice had decided what was appropriate, what was respectable, what was wise, what was dangerous, who she should admire, who she should avoid, who deserved her attention, and who was worthy of it. And somehow, over time, Elise had stopped asking herself what she wanted. A faint smile tugged at the corner of her mouth as a happier time drifted through her memory. Her first love, Braxton, and the way he'd call her name. The smile appeared before she could stop it. Then another voice arrived, sharp, certain, familiar. You like him? The words echoed through her mind, and suddenly she was 16 again, standing in her bedroom, trying desperately to hide the fact that she had been daydreaming, trying to hide anything that belonged to her that hadn't first been approved by Geneva Montgomery. The memory unfolded around her. Geneva standing in the doorway, arms folded, watching, analyzing, already deciding. Before Elise had the chance to understand her own feelings, before she had the chance to speak. You like him? Not a question, a verdict, a diagnosis, a warning. And from that moment forward, attraction had never felt simple. Desire had never felt safe. Every feeling required examination. Every interest required justification. Every longing needed permission. Elise. The voice shattered the memory. Elise. She blinked. The home office mirror came back into focus. Elise. Her mother's voice was no longer in her head. Geneva stood several feet away, impatience written across her face. Stop that daydreaming. He's waiting. She pointed toward the door. Elise's stomach tightened. Just like that. The moment was gone. The memory was gone. And her mother was once again directing traffic in a life that was supposed to belong to her. You've just listened to Chapter 2 of The Bishop's Daughter by Lee Franklin, but the story is only beginning. Join us next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for Chapter 3. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss an episode, and keep an eye out for exclusive subscriber content coming soon, including early releases, bonus audio scenes, character deep dives, and special updates from the world of The Bishop's Daughter. Until next time, some inherit crowns and some inherit cages. Good night.